And we're gonna have a great show because we're gonna talk about some real topics. So, topic one: how do I control my anxiety? Is it through medication, talk therapy, exercise, or a mixture of something else? Topic two: um, do I take mental health days, and why are they important? Number three: what's the best way to improve your mental well-being? Let's give them some tips, y'all. We gotta give these people some tips because, yes, this is not Mental Health Awareness Month, but Black folks, we always facing anxiety and having to deal with our mental every second of every day. So I wanted to start it off. I want to start ahead of everybody to make sure that we talk about this legitimately. So let's start with my one of my favorite heavies. We're gonna start with Ranisia, like ladies first. So how do you? I mean, you want me to start? Want me to start this or what?
I can start. I can
Okay.
totally start.
How do you control your anxiety? What do you do?
Um, well, as somebody that's been dealing with anxiety for over, wow, 25 years, as well as depression, I have actually kind of developed some techniques for myself through therapy. Um, One of my favorite ones to do is to check in with my body in that moment when I'm feeling a lot of anxiety. It's like, okay, how is my stomach feeling? Or do I have any headaches right now? Is there anything that I can do to like comfort myself? Is there a TV show I can watch? Is there a meme I can look at? Is there a friend that I can talk to in order to kind of get that anxiety out of there? I also do a lot of journaling, especially, we've been in this pandemic, or as I like to call it, Panasonic, for a while now. Just to make me laugh. I know, right? But we've been dealing with this for a while. I've been unemployed for 54 weeks, and one thing I do is just write things out, just get it out of my brain, kind of meditate on it, and kind of let it fall away. Okay. So those are things I work on.
Okay. So how about you, Adrian? So how do you deal with how do you control your anxiety?
Oh, brother, I have a long list just off the top of my head. For me, like meditation, prayer, reading Proverbs and Psalms and the Bible. A lot of times I have to be by myself and like deep breaths in through my nose, out through my mouth slowly. It's so funny. I remember, I think it was Family Matters, the sitcom years ago. I believe it was Uncle Kharel. I think it was Uncle Kharel. I remember years ago from the sitcom, I remember it was like a tip for you to control your anxiety, anger, like 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. And I've been doing that since I was a kid. I do that, like Ranisia said, like, it has been hard with this whole pandemic going on. So my anxiety has increased a whole lot, hell of a whole lot or whatever, and I'm a big advocate of therapy and, people getting counseling and stuff. So, and the stuff that, like, and I've gone through therapy and counseling before, I'm writing stuff out, writing down the stuff that is keeping my mind boxed.
Hey, you just hit your mute. You just muted yourself. Adrian.
Sorry, Zoom.
Okay, go on.
And writing it down on paper, and then I'm writing solutions that's going to help me to, to deal with it. So just off the top of my head, those are just some of the many ways I deal with it.
Okay. How about you, Kharel? What's your angle in dealing with your anxiety? What do you do?
For me, I know like a lot of people that have been dealing with the pandemic, however they've been processing it. For me, I've embraced the hardships, embraced things like the anxiety and depression, and combat it with things that make me happy. Things that are going to take my mind off it, but also distract it with positivity. So then you're kind of reinforcing what you're dealing with a replacement that's going to be pushing you forward. So me, since I do cook and, and that's my profession, I try to work on a new dish.
Okay.
Play my songs that put me in the right element to go and create something new. And most of the time, like I'll start zoning out and I'll look and it's like, damn, I don't even remember what was bothering me. I don't even remember what was putting me on a heightened level. Like I can't even think of the situation that put me in that mode of like, damn, like why am I feeling this way? And then you start to think about like how you got into that position where you're not even thinking about it no more. Then you can go back to that moment to when those, when those moments arise where you start feeling, down on yourself or feeling heightened in a sense of like the walls are closing in on you. Then you're filling those voids. So then when they when they do come up, it's less of an extreme and more of a like, oh, I got this. I don't even have to go to that place of trying to combat it because I've replaced it with more and more good moments.
I'm gonna take all those tips. All those tips are like, because the thing is, because the thing about when you're dealing with anxiety, you don't think everybody else is dealing with anxiety.
Right.
You just don't. You just think, well, why it seems like everybody else has a better life or they got better control over it. You feeling kind of like out of place because, you keep anxiety is something internal. So you think I'm the only one feeling it. But when you had that, I like to, for me, I like to talk to people, like just having genuine conversations with friends about nothing. I like to call it about nothing important, right? It definitely helps my anxiety, especially when I realize that they face the same thing I do. Finding commonality with a person, especially when it comes to your mental health, is a beautiful thing. It may be scary because people are like, well, I'm supposed to be strong for my family. I'm supposed to have everything together. But the reality is nobody has it together, and we need each other to bring that out so we can relax. You know what I mean? Like that's one thing I do. Sometimes a shot of whiskey or something right after a long day of work helps. It's like my grandfather used to do it. He used to do it like he used to have a little something in his coffee in the morning, and then he come home, he had some scotch at the end of the day, and he do this every day, right?
Hey, sometimes the dark will bring you to the light.
Yeah, they be like, don't touch that coffee. That's granddad's coffee. So
that granddaddy whiskey.
Right. But I find that, but I got some other tips that I found out that help a lot of people control their anxiety. I'm gonna read it. You tell me what you think of it, okay? Take a time out. You ever just taking a time out, whatever you're doing? Like even at work, just be like, peace, I gotta take a time out.
Yeah.
And how about you got to? How about eating well-balanced meals? Like sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But do you find that it does change your anxiety? Or not?
Yeah. I feel like this. Yeah.
Definitely.
It does.
So how about you, Anthony? Because I know you're a connoisseur of good food. So, Adrian. Sorry, Adrian.
Yeah.
So how about you? You're a connoisseur of good food.
Yeah, like I eat healthy and stuff. Of course, I'm not perfect, but yeah, like like real talk. Like when I eat like a bunch of I'm getting all giddy. Like blueberries, strawberries. I make it like bananas. I make like a bowl of that and stuff. I put some honey and cinnamon on top of it. I'll juice and do moringa and stuff. And I will say this. I love moringa. I love moringa. Then I love primrose. Like if you come in my refrigerator, I'll always have like some apples, beets, and carrots or green juice or something, juice stuff or whatever. And I know a lot of it's mental because I like to read about healthy food, but it calms my anxiety down a lot. And then I'll feel like, okay, so I got this good food I'm putting in my body. I got my antioxidants, I got my vitamin C and all that good stuff or whatever. So it helps me a lot. It helps me to calm down, like a big bowl of fruit or salad, or and then having my juice and stuff.
How about you, Kharel? Because I know you the chef of the flavor.
Oh, most definitely. Food can definitely change your mood mentally and physically, and put you in a different way spiritually as well. I know as far as like the term comfort food just doesn't come from the idea of eating soul food. It's going to put you in a different space. So for me, I would say as far as like I can make me a hibiscus drink and I'll, load it in. I might put extra beets in there. I might put strawberries, the thing that gives you that heightened sense, getting the blood flowing, because sometimes a shift in how your body is flowing can change how your mind is working. So sometimes eating every food like this high in antioxidants. You might have been thinking about like, damn, man, I've been thinking about having me a slice of pineapple or some watermelon, or like a mixture of sliced up strawberries. Sometimes even saying it out loud, it will change your mood because you've been thinking about it. Now you said it so consciously, you're like, you know what? That's what I'm going to do when I get home. Yeah. So you've already put yourself in a position to change the way your mind is being thought, to change the way how you're feeling, because you've put yourself in a plan of action of something that you're trying to do. And you, at the end of the day, or at the end of doing it, you're going to be full, you're going to be satisfied. So it's a euphoric sense at the same time of changing it in a mental sense as well.
Yeah, and you can't really bang on pineapple and still be mean mugging.
Right.
Pineapple. You can't even you gotta smile at it.
If you get you a one that's nice and sweet, but it has the little sour kick to it too, and you get both of those flavors at the same time.
That's the one.
Yeah.
It's over.
And last but not least, Ranisia, like your last name is Cook, for real. Like, so how about you in eating a well-balanced meal? I mean, how does that affect does it help a lot or no?
You know, actually, since this panini has started, no, but since the pandemic has started, I have noticed that like having more home cooked meals. I don't really do the Postmates Uber Eats thing. It's not my thing, you know, but I have been eating a lot healthier and even kind of going back into my meatless Mondays, which is like my new jam.
Okay.
You know, I do a mean cauliflower soup. But
Nice.
and you know, before that time, it was just because I work in Hollywood, you know, I'm constantly at all the restaurants, and then it's like it's also a bar. So I'm drinking a beer, I'm having a shot with coworkers or friends and things like that. And that was probably the worst time that my anxiety was like just really, really like tugging at me, because I'm working 40 hours and then I'm eating all this crap and then drinking alcohol on top of that. It was just, yeah, huge difference, huge difference. And I'm gonna keep it up when I return back to work too. No more Shake Shack for me.
But they said the next one is definitely limit your alcohol and caffeine. I only use caffeine when it's an emergency where I have to stay up or get up or to get something done. But I try to stay away from coffee. But I do drink tea. But
yes,
you know, I do think that just to get my mind right. How about get enough sleep? Do we get enough sleep, y'all? Because they say that helps with anxiety.
I wouldn't even be able to tell you. I wouldn't even be able to tell you, brother. I can't even remember the last time I got me at least 6 or 7. I can't even remember it. And I started looking at it as like I'm utilizing my time within the 24 hours that I'm given. So how much of effectively is me getting 8 hours versus that I'm using my full 24 to get everything I need to get done on this day and or for the next day. So it kind of helps you to sleep a little bit longer. And, you know, 2 hours could feel like 8 if you know you got that day accomplished the way you wanted to.
Yeah, I agree with you. How about exercise daily? How about you, Ranisia? How we get cardio in?
Actually, yeah. Because my job, I was probably clocking anywhere from 12,000 to 15,000 steps a day. So to kind of go from that to 0, it was just like, what am I going to do about this? So I take my time like every day and I try to walk. I may not hit those same 12,000 or 15,000 steps every day, but as long as I'm able to get like an hour in, like I feel great afterwards.
Okay. And how about you, Adrian? How's the exercise? Because when COVID hit, and I know you wasn't doing what you normally would do. So how has the exercise been doing? How are you doing the exercise?
Yeah, I have been exercising. Of course, like, you know, when COVID first started, you know, all the gyms and stuff, of course, were closed down. So I was doing like outdoor park workouts, indoor workouts and stuff. But now that they're back open, I have been going to the gym. I will say cardio wise, I've been doing more of the treadmill and elliptical. And then I've been doing, I don't know if I showed you, I started a boxing class like a few months ago. I started boxing. And then like my teacher, he'll kind of have me like a private lesson. We'll kind of like run in place and slide. So I may do that for like 10 or 15 minutes, jump and rope, jogging in the neighborhood and stuff. And then like, and I've been doing like my regular, like Monday through Fridays. And I think I share with you, Karima, and I share with everybody who's watching, like, it's really good. Like Mondays, chest, Tuesday, back, Wednesday, arms, Thursday, shoulder, Friday, I do legs. And then like I'll do like, and then all those 5 days of the week, I'll do like the machine mixed with my own body weight, mixed with free weights, so I'll do that and everything. And then actually for me, it gives me a good high. And like, especially when I'm very stressed out or like, my anxiety, whatever, just, I like it. I like just to keep doing like the workout and then the sweat. And like, no matter how much anxiety I have, or if I'm in a bad mood or whatever, by the time I leave the gym or working out, like within an hour or two, I'm still sweat and sore. It helps take the anxiety and all the stress away.
Okay. How about you, Kharel? I mean,
For me,
you
like,
you get no sleep. I'm like, man, how you gonna be
right.
Yeah.
For me, since the pandemic had hit, it was like I've had a love-hate relationship with working out, because I'd love to be able to get that extra, stress off my mind, stress off my body, being within the gym. But I hate how some of them that have been staying open since the pandemic are maxed out. Like, you can't even get on a machine, and you'll probably have to wait like 30, 45 minutes. That messes up my flow. Like, I like to go through my workout, like maybe an hour 15, like, and I'm done. And I got everything that I needed to work out. But seeing how like some of them had opened back up. So I was like, let me get another little membership. And as soon as I had got the membership, it closed down in July. Got it in June, closed in July. So found another one that was close to my house, because I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll walk to the gym. I was walking to the one I was going to, opened up for 3 weeks, and then they closed. Then I went to another one, and then every time I would go in there, it was just packed. 24? Like, I would be moving it. No, it was Fitness 19.
Okay.
And I would go in there, the gym equipment would be moved around, like, oh yeah, we moved this back outside. It's like, you got to go back outside to go check in. Then you get outside and everybody's standing around and not working out. So you don't even have your little safe space to try to get your burn on. So I was like, you know what? Y'all gonna have to figure this out, because every time I come to a new gym membership, you know what? I'm gonna have to start a co-op. It's like, look, let's let all three of y'all get together and let's just donate some money to get this right. Because I done joined 3 different gyms at this point, and I can't get the workout the way I want to. So it was just like, you know what? Let me utilize. I have a dog. Like, let me walk my dog a little longer. Let me spend a little bit more time with him and get that extra workout in. And a mile turned from a mile. I started doing 2.5 to 3 miles. And then I was like, started, exploring my neighborhood and looking around. Oh, I didn't know this was here. I didn't know that was here. So I was like, well, at least this is something, versus just sitting in that space of not being able to do what you want to do what you can do, and enjoy that.
Yeah, I started like, I do, because I live in Panorama City. So there's a dam that I got a bike route through the park. I'm up to like, I can do it in 45 minutes, but that's hauling ass like through the park on a bike and doing the whole entire dam area. So yeah, I had to, because I was like, I wanted to get a row machine, but then the gym's closed down. So I was like, I'm gonna do that, or I'm gonna do my medicine ball, doing that in another park, which is just taking your body weight, medicine ball, 15 pound, 25 pound, 30 pound balls and run around the park and getting some kind of exercise there. How about, because also I find that the COVID has definitely put us in a place where we had to understand what we could not control, except that you cannot control everything. And that in itself kind of helps your anxiety go down. Because the thing about it, if you realize you can't control it, you're like, okay.
Takes the choice away.
Takes the choice away. I'm gonna worry about what I can't control, like getting up in the morning and going to work. I can control that, How about y'all? Have anyone y'all have came to that realization, or is it not familiar to you that you realize that you just can't control everything?
Yeah, I think the whole world, felt that way or whatever. To accept it was really hard, You know what I'm saying? Because like like LA, like we're hustlers. Especially like us in entertainment. So I just acting, voiceover, audition, other little side work and gigs and stuff. And it was just like, okay, so I'm really not going to be getting a check every week. I'm not going to have direct deposit. I'm not going to get so and so. Those of when you get your residuals were still coming in, but it's like, oh my God, rent, gas, electric, and to accept it. That was the hard part. So of course, like we were all able like to call our landlords and rent and get like, hey, we can't pay rent right now, and it's not going to be paid for a few months or whatever. And you called your credit card companies, but to accept it, that was hard for me.
Yeah, it was a very. I mean, yeah, it was hard to just be isolated, but at the same time, I'm not gonna lie, I love the 405 traffic. That COVID 405 traffic is
Right.
dope.
And the 101. Yeah.
And the 101. We talking about
And the 110.
I work 19 miles away.
Yeah.
Back now, though.
At 20 minutes.
Back now.
Man, I got into Long Beach
beginning.
in 20 minutes in the beginning, man.
Oh
Man.
God, that's
I
I
live
was
in
loving
Leimert
it because
Park.
I offer my own delivery service. So I was just loving how it was like I was getting to everything with just enough time to get back home and get in relaxed mode and not have to get in a sense of like, damn, dude, I'm about to be stuck in traffic for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, plus another hour to get to where I'm trying to go. So I was loving it. But now it's like, dude, what are y'all doing back on the freeway? Don't y'all want to take the streets? It's like, shit.
I will say this, like for actors, it's easier for auditions. And it's so funny. For my auditions, is less anxiety because, because actors, you can't go in person to auditions, so everybody has to do self-tape. So it's like when you go in person, it's like, okay, so that's you look at all the different actors being in front of all the cast of people, you have a lot of anxiety. Whereas being at home, you have your setup and everything, and it's like you can concentrate more on the work. So acting is different.
How about because they also say welcome humor. Have y'all welcomed the humor that comes in this crazy time? Because that definitely releases a lot of anxiety. How about you, Ranisia? How about you've been doing voiceovers at the job? What we doing?
I mean, really, because I also like to bake a lot, so that was definitely like a savior in a way. But I have gained weight because of it. But I do know how to make cheesecakes, so bam, win. I think I don't know. But it's really interesting. I tell this all the time to like a lot of my friends and even my coworkers. In therapy, there's a technique that they like to use. It's called dialectic behavioral therapy. And one of the segments talks about reality or radical acceptance, which essentially just means, you are accepting reality as it is. It doesn't mean that you have to like it or anything, but you're just accepting it as it is. And it kind of eases the stress and anxiety within you. So it was pretty interesting to kind of learn that like a month before this happened. And I think that ended up helping me quite a bit.
Okay. So is it like once you come to a realization that you do not control it, that it kind of relaxed you a little bit, or is it more like
definitely
everybody getting shitted on, so why am I complaining about my little shit? You mean like
seriously, it's kind of like I saw Kharel Williams on Drink Champs the other day, and he said something about a lot of people are too zoomed in. We have to zoom out. And what I got from that was basically that a lot of the things that we worry about within ourselves, it's like there's so much things. There's so many things that are bigger than just us. Yeah. And it kind of developed like more empathy within me as well for what everybody was going through.
How about, did you, I mean, in the last thing, coping strategy, they say is learn what triggers your anxiety. Like, did anybody learn I learned what triggers my anxiety. I don't like big crowds. I never have. I didn't realize that big crowds just freak me out for some strange reason. Always been that way. And that's probably the reason why I like to go to little places, except concerts, because concerts is different because everybody's just looking at the same thing. So I don't know why concerts are cool, but like being in like the zoo and a whole bunch of people coming at you, like it's like kind of messes with me. Have y'all learned what triggers your anxiety?
Not being in control.
Not being in control? Okay.
Yeah.
But knowing that you kind of like, okay, cool. If I know that trigger, I'll make sure that I always have all my stuff in place, right?
Yeah, like I always like to be pre-organized in general, but like, yeah, I say it made me think being more organized. Like it's like instead of having 6 months stuff planned, like bills or money or whatever, try to have more than that. And yeah, because the fact that I'm not in control of like, oh wait, because it's to deal with the daily routine. And like the groceries, I love going to the grocery store, dollar store, stuff like that. So it's kind of like, oh wait, so like they're really, it's limited water and food. I remember like the first week when it happened, like all the shelves at Ralph's were like empty of like chicken and beef and fish.
Yeah,
it was like, oh my
crazy.
God, yeah. It was weird. It's like we really have to eat canned foods and whatever we can find. I wasn't in control of what I could eat.
I was bothered by that. I was bothered by the fact that the fact that there was no toilet paper. Because I was like, I can make anything out of anything, but I do not know how to manufacture toilet paper. I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I was losing my mind because I'm like, it's toilet paper. I take it for granted,
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
How about you, Kharel?
I think for me it was, and what it's been, over the years, it's the scenarios. As far as like for me, like how I play out multiple scenarios in my head is what's always like triggered my anxiety. Like how I can vividly see multiple things play out. Like I can see this person doing that, see this person saying that, and how I can't control the narrative of what they're going to say. But like I can see it so vividly in my mind, whether it's from cashier or whether it's from a customer, whether it's from just a person that I know, just having a random text or phone conversation. If I see things are going into that direction of where I'm not in a position to where I can control it, as AD was saying, as far as like not being able to control the situation and not being able to control the scenario, that's always been like a heightened way of taking the anxiety and putting it on 100 from it being on 5. And for me, of learning how to just understand of what I'm receiving and not taking it as I have to respond to every little thing that I'm being shown or everything that is being said to me. And that's how like my mind has been trained to be able to respond to everything that I'm hearing, everything that I'm receiving, everything that I'm taking in from each scenario or each person in a scenario. And being more, like Ranisia said, less of, being zoomed in and more being zoomed out of a situation and just being more quick to letting the response come, and it's less of I have to respond to this right away, or I have to address these things right away. And being within this COVID like everybody else, I feel like that's more beneficial than anything else, of just letting things ride out versus I have to be reactionary to everything. And I feel like that's hurt a lot of people because you can turn on the news and that's how it was. Or you have to go to the store. You got to go stock up on things because we might be in this for a while. You basically heighten the anxiety onto the public that didn't have to be there. Yeah. Instead of reporting it that way and spinning it that way, you could have said, maybe go try to, utilize your resources of getting the things that you might necessarily need. But, as a person, limit it to what you definitely need. Don't say anything that a person might specifically need. That's just giving the person the information, not specifically saying stock up on, toilet paper, stock up on, paper products. You basically started a frenzy that didn't have to happen. So me taking the situations that I've been in and that I've seen, within the public, okay, don't respond to it. Don't have a reaction to it. Yeah. Do what you need to do, but don't take upon the chaos and put it on your own shoulders and put it on your mind, that you don't have to. And I feel like that's been helpful to me. I feel like that could be helpful to a lot of people instead of feeling like they have to take on everything that's going on in the world. Don't do that, especially as a Black man trying to maneuver in this world like many other Black men we can't put that type of pressure onto ourselves. We can't add the extra added anxiety of the world when we already are dealing with a multitude of things that are not being addressed. So
I'm sorry to cut it.
Right
Is my
on.
banner right? Because I keep on forgetting.
Yeah, it's right.
it's right.
Okay, I'm always paranoid because the first show we did was reversed, and people were like, "Huh? What show are you on?"
No, it's from left to right.
Yeah,
You
we
good?
can read it.
Okay. I was further about that. But how about you, Adrian? I mean, did you learn your triggers and learn to cope with your anxiety, or what?
Yes, listen, I learned how to like if I'm not in control. I'm not in control of what's going to be at the dollar store or the grocery store. So over the weeks as they went past, like I was one of those smart people. Like when it first happened at the time, my roommates and all of us, we went and like we racked up on everything. So we had food to last us like about a month or so, and we did get some meat. But and as the weeks went on, of course the food, everything was limited. But I learned to cope with. I had to, you adjust, you adapt. I don't even remember because that's when I see sometimes on the Facebook stories. You and I were going to Hummingbird. We were going to Hummingbird to hike and stuff during when the pandemic first started. So but it's funny because I don't even remember because the hiking trails in LA were closed. But Hummingbird, that's in Ventura County,
right on the edge.
Yeah, and then it's funny because we hike all over, and like in LA, like all the Griffith Park, Wisdom Tree, all that LA, all that stuff was closed.
Yeah.
So it's like we had to go to Ventura County. So it's like we're not in control of any of this stuff.
Yeah.
So we adapted. I had to adapt.
I mean, what they say, the strong survive. We have to adapt as human beings, and just and cope with the situation, and not lose ourselves in the situation, knowing that, as my mom always said, it's a temporary. It's gonna be bad today, but it can't be bad every day.
Right.
So
Yeah.
So let's go to the next topic too. Do you take mental health days, and why are they important to you? So this Ranisia, why do you take when we started off, or you want it?
Oh, I can start it.
Okay, cool. So, why should you? What do you take mental health days?
Oh, yes.
Okay, and why are they important to you?
Because I really believe in my peace being a little bit more important than an hourly wage.
Yeah,
right. That's right.
That's what it is at the end of the day, and me working at probably one of the most stressful retail stores in Hollywood, at Amoeba Music. It's just, you get those customers that want to test you. You get those bosses that are angry that, Billie Eilish is all sold out. Now they want to yell at you. And, have been there for as long as I have been. I've gone through a lot of stuff. I've lost people in my life. I've gone through a lot. And the mental health days definitely keep me. I mean, and I had to be straightforward with them. Like, it's just like, you know what? I am having a hard time. And sometimes I'm not going to be in the mood for being all smiley and showing you where MF Doom records are. I'm sorry.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
So how about you, Adrian? How about you? Do you take mental health days?
Yes, I do, and I've done that most of my life and everything. And most of the time, I take mental health days. Most of the time, I prefer it by myself. And for me, that's like for several hours, I'll watch like Netflix, Hulu, watch my series. Kind of like if I was drinking some wine or something, have my drink and everything. I love to cook and stuff. On my mental health days, I'll treat myself out to eat. So whether it's carry out or I'll go to a restaurant or whatever, get some food to eat and everything. And this kind of So I got the TV and the food and the wine that calms me down. That's the biggest thing for me on my mental health days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Kharel? Do you take?
It's funny because when I was actually looking at the questions and going over, and I was like, "Oh, this is crazy," because this is something I had just started incorporating as of last year. I took a mental health excursion. I went
Okay.
to Nicaragua. I went to Honduras. I went to Colombia. I went to Costa Rica. I went to Panama. And that's how I started my year off last year in January. And, and after having that trip and being able to take in, going to most of these indigenous Pan-African places in these countries that you wouldn't think would be there, I had a different perspective when I came back on how I approached my Blackness, how I approached how I was going to be taking things. I went to different little areas in these countries that was separated from the outside world, no secular anything, you know, but yes, they're thriving, they're enjoying, they love their little towns, they love their little areas, and they receive themselves as being Black. So you got a whole country of being in Colombia, Costa Rica, Panama, and these are places where they receive themselves and identify as Black. So I take that and come back and I'm like, we have a whole other areas that love being Black, but then you come home to the US and it's like, I'm not just Black, I'm Black mixed with this, Black mixed with that. Like, they're not saying that they were Black and Colombian. So how I started receiving things is that I would take each time every month as to how I could check on people, you know, check in and tap in and see how this person is doing. You know, what's going on with your mental? Like, you know, what are you working on? What's going on with this? Like, how can I help you to be able to get this business or what you've been trying to do, you know, going forward? So then it made me look at what I'm dealing with or what I'm going through as a business owner, how that is so basically minute for what I'm doing, because they're dealing with starting phases, or they're dealing with this one thing of how they can go forward, and I'm able to help them. And it took, you know, a weight off of how I'm not going forward the way I want to from a perfectionist mind of how you can help someone else. So it basically took me into a different place of how my mind is different now, because I've been able to experience this, but I'm also taking other people's experiences and replacing it with things that I'm dealing with mentally as my shit is not that bad, or I'm not dealing with something that is that worse because I'm taking in somebody else, you know, situation as, damn, they're doing things the same way I was trying to do things, but yet they're dealing with it mentally. And I feel like having that village of people that are dealing with the same things that you're dealing with helps you to have those mental breaks, because you're not only dealing with it by yourself, you're dealing with it with others that can understand where you were at that point in time where you were explaining something that you were dealing with. Plus, you have a new companion or a new way that you might be able to approach it. Taking this, you know, time right now is a different way how we can approach, how we can go the next day or the next time we have a mental health day, to be able to assess how, okay, I took those points of what everyone else was doing, and this is how I can be able to effectively do it the next time I get to have a mental health day.
That's a nice mirror. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all making it hard. I gotta dig deep to bring some good stuff. But a lot of people out there, they question, should they take a mental health day, because they don't think mental health day is on the same level of physical health days. Like if you got a flu, they don't put it on the same level as having a flu. If you have a flu, you're not coming to work.
Yeah, it's because it's still stigmatized, you know?
Yeah, and the thing is, I just want to let people know that these are some of the traits that if you see that in yourself, please go take a mental health day. So if you feel overwhelmed, stressed, have trouble focusing or concentrating at work or at home, if you're irritable, if you consider taking a mental health day, y'all. Please do. Because the thing is, if you wake up and all of a sudden you instantly got stress and you down and you're depressed, you just woke up. God gave you more life. And the first thing you think of is, this life is overwhelming. You need to take a mental health day. I suggest
Definitely
one of the best places to go, and I want y'all to follow me on this. Like, one of the best places to go is the beach. Go to the beach and sit on the beach and put your feet in the sand and listen to the ocean. That's one of my favorite places to go. So how about you, Kharel? Which one of your favorite places to go to help out that mental health day?
Oh man. And it's crazy because when you think about it, you try to like pinpoint one, but then when you try to like incorporate having multiple places, you're like, damn, let me think back on that one I knew that was like, it put me in the right, it put me in the right mode. I would say, as you were saying, the beach, but I like to go at night. I like to get, find a nice spot. It doesn't have to be necessarily where a lot of rocks are, but for me, it's the one that's in San Pedro. Mm-hmm. You take it straight out, and I have it like set in my phone, but it's you go down the stairs and it's nothing but rocks down there. But then if the ocean is coming in, and you get to sit down, they have steps and everything, and I'll take a book with me, take my menu book with me, and I'll write out some new menu ideas. I'll write out something that I've been thinking about, something I want to infuse, like a new goal that I want to accomplish right now versus like something that I'm trying to handle in the future. And then I'm combating, things that, because sometimes you can be in the right element and then your mind can be clouded. So you think you're in, in a state of like, oh, look at all this ambiance, look at all this majesty. And I'm in this moment right now, but then your mind might be clouded.
Yeah.
So sometimes saying something out loud, like, oh, this is a good idea. And then now you're combating things that might start popping up in your head or putting you in a heightened state with reinforced ideas of positivity. And for me, it's always been the beach at night, or going for a drive, going up PCH, going up Malibu, and it might not, and then you have the ambiance of the beach in the background. Just sometimes just moving, going for a walk. For me, that it's just always been the beach at night, though. If I have to pick one, I think that's the best as far as for me.
Okay. How about you, Adrian?
Pretty much being outside of nature, of course, the mountains, while on the East Coast and stuff, like a park, and everything. But I have to be in nature, like trees, lakes, green grass, fresh grass, and just outside, sunrise, sunset.
How about you, Ranisia?
The beach,
for
sure.
We're on a consensus right now.
I can't help it. I am California born and bred.
That's
I'm
right.
a beach baby. I'm a summertime baby.
Mm.
The beach is where it's at for me. Another place, which rest in peace to them, World on Wheels, because I love roller skating.
Yeah.
That's like my jam. But I'm trying to figure out where I can actually go skate now, where it's not too crazy. Another place for me, I used to go, and I haven't been since, I want to say October, but Exposition Park has the Rose Garden.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love kind of just being in that atmosphere with all those beautiful roses. I love color. I try to find beauty in everything. You can't tell my artwork back here, but it's just that's my thing, is just finding the beauty in anything and everything, and definitely being in nature.
Definitely. So we're going to move on to the last topic. What is the best way to improve your mental well-being? So we got to give them some good tips, y'all, because this new season, this next month is mental health month. But if we can give them some tips now, so when this month ends and the next month comes, they'll be prepared. So what's the best way to improve your mental well-being? Ranisia, what would you tell people?
Ooh, man.
We start?
Yeah. Wow, that's a really, really good question. One that actually my grandmother's friend had told me a few months ago is be present, unclench your jaw, and remember to pee. And I was just like, well, what about the peeing part? What is it? She's like, it's just all about being present and being in the present moment.
Okay.
And of course, that's a struggle for all of us. We're constantly thinking and worrying and having things going on in our lives every day. But if we find moments to have that time to just be present, to enjoy the taste of coffee or the taste of your food and tasting the umami of all of the seasonings you put on that salmon. It's just being in that moment helps out quite a bit.
For sure.
How about you, Kharel?
I would say limiting your vices, because sometimes we go into a state of that, we get into that point of where like, oh shit, here it comes. I see you already creeping over there. You coming up on my back, like up. But then what we do is, what do we combat that with? Drinking, smoking. Sometimes, some people do drugs harder than, weed, and limit the vices, but combat them and replace the vices with positive reinforcement. I would say another thing is forgive yourself, because we all fall short of a lot of different things. So forgive yourself for going into that point where you fall into that dark place where you're not feeling as good about yourself. You're not seeing yourself in that positive light. You're not seeing the best you that you want to. But forgive yourself, because you know that you're not going to always be there. Trouble doesn't last always, and we all know that. But it depends on how you respond to what you're dealing with, and not necessarily as I'm in this bad place, so everybody else around me has to feel my wrath.
Yeah.
And a lot of times some people, they respond that way. They're not having a good day, or they're dealing with something, that might be traumatic for them mentally and physically and spiritually. So what are you going to get from that type of person? A lash out, because they're not forgiving themselves for what they're dealing with currently.
Exactly.
And I would say the last thing is, go to that happy place. Go to the senses of what that makes you think about the best part of you, or the best way out of that dark place.
And how about you, Adrian? I mean,
I heard you said what are tips, right?
Yeah, what are good tips to improve your mental well-being?
I say journaling. Yeah, literally journaling, dump it out, write it out, how you feel, no matter how dumb it sounds, write it out. And I've learned this through therapy in my past. Keep that journal private to yourself. Write those ideas out, pray, have a dialogue with God, and just like be in tune with spirit, crucify your flesh and be in tune with spirit. Because when you talk to God, like we're having a natural conversation now, it's just natural. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, God, whatever, like if you're feeling anxiety, like you say, anxiety, mental illness, whatever you're dealing with, as a person what you're battling with, and you and I talk like, and I believe God is real. God is real, and each individual has the spiritual right to connect with God. So I think as people, like, honor your divine right, like connect with God, talk to God, ask God to deliver you, have that connection with God, meditation, go to your secret place, he who dwelleth in the secret place, that's the Psalms. I also find that like, go meditate, meditate on God's words, connect, like, because when you meditate, especially like in silence or whatever, you it's interesting what you hear, because all the stuff is silenced out and everything. I agree a lot with what Ranisia and Kharel said. And I also feel like I'm doing like a little social media fast. I find sometimes social media is a distraction, and my
Yes.
personal opinion, it's a big distraction at times, and that contributes to people's anxiety and different things. And I do that sometimes. Like I'll say I'm going to take a month or 2 months off of social media, and that helps me a lot because it's a discipline. Because sometimes if you're looking at all these different things celebrities and people are doing, that contributes to like your view of yourself, your value, and just my personal opinion. It's like, okay, so this is the Instagram, Facebook world. So all these people, you have filtered photos, you airbrush everything, you crop it, they got the money, this and that.
Yeah,
This is like
the Facetune.
yeah,
Right.
all that, and we the Snapchat, the nose and the ears and stuff. So if a person already thinks low of themselves or feels away, and then you're on social media, like, oh my God, look at them, and this is what celebrity so and so is doing. So sometimes get off social media, like whether like I sometimes take a month or two, a week, but like give yourself a I'm not going to check it for 3 days or 5 days, whatever. Talk to God, get in tune with your own personal spirit, journal, write those things down. And it's like, I have a huge list of that. I know it's been so much time we have on the show, but those are just some tips, to deal with yourself and mental health, mental awareness.
Yeah, I've expanded the show. It's not 45 minutes no more, because if I had one guest, I could do a 45-minute show. More than that, I need to expand. So we got unlimited amount of time. But
Okay.
I totally agree with everything that y'all saying. I just want to add two things that to add to what y'all already said. Don't take yourself. Be okay. Accept your what is that? Do your best. Don't do the best that everybody else thinks you can do. Just do your best, right? And then you okay. Like my job is constantly pressing us to do a crazy amount of work with like little to no pay. And I look at them like, I'm just gonna do my best.
Fuck that job.
and I'm working on it. Right? But
but that's an insider. That's an insider between
but
us.
that job did help me get this house, so you can't get too mad at it.
Yeah.
But that is definitely, just do your best. Like the thing is, I've always, even at that job, always have done my best. I don't give a shit about what nobody else is thinking about what their best, because I seen the people who critique me about not doing my best never do their best. So I'm like, I can't even take you serious.
Man,
I know you're not lying. I know it to be true, brother. I know it.
You be doing your job. And very important that we kind of glazed over, but sleep. We got to get more sleep, because you notice that when you dealing with something, even if you're dealing with something like light, right? When you're dealing with something really, really light, right? When you don't have no sleep, that thing feels like it's right in your face, screaming at you, right? But you notice that after you take a nap, you be like, hey, that's not that big, and I can deal with it. And matter of fact, I got like 4 or 5 ways of dealing with it. Because when you don't have any sleep, you only think of one.
That clarity.
You only think of one, get that out my face, and then you do it very clumsy, getting it out your face. Or you may do it very violently, getting it out your face. But when you take that step back and get that sleep, you go, it wasn't even that bad. It wasn't even serious. Like I took I think it was a year ago or maybe 2 years ago. I took a 1-month vacation from the job, a whole entire 30 days. And I know they were like, who do that? I know Caucasians do that. I know. Take that 1-month vacation. So, but it's true. It's so true. But hey, but the thing is, my mental state was incredible having that month off. Literally, the things that normally would easily piss me off, I was like, it's not that bad.
Right.
I'm okay. And people look at me strange, like, aren't you pissed off at that? I was like, I normally would, because I didn't get enough sleep. But now that I've gotten all the sleep, I realized that was that version of me at the job. That wasn't my true self. And a lot of people, when you're under pressure, you think that true anxiety person is you, but it's not. It's just anxiety. And you gotta, I believe, separate yourself by giving yourself some sleep.
It's crazy that you mentioned that, because that specific place that you went to when you came back from having your vacation is called perspective enlightenment.
Okay.
Where now you've gained a different type of clarity on everything. It's a heightened way that you see things, how you see yourself. So how now that you're reflective on how you see in yourself, you can give the world a better version of you from having that perspective enlightenment.
And it's like, it's amazing, because Black people do not give themselves a break. We think we work hard, we get 2 jobs, and we work hard and we reach our goal. And then you have to come to the realization that no matter how hard you work, right, you're not working for your money's not working for you. You're working for your money. And you're never going to be wealthy or rich on the level that you believe yourself to be if that's the only hustle you got. There's no way. And you're going to be stressed out. But we never give ourselves that break, because the thing is, we trying to keep up with the Joneses. We trying to look cool for our homies, or we trying to look cool for people that don't even like us. Right?
Man, who you telling?
And we have to give ourselves a break as just as people of the as Black folks living in this country. We just really do. And
Yeah.
mental health days, take your mental health days. I know you're thinking of that mindset, the last one hired, the first one fired. I know there's some Black person out there thinking of that, but I'm telling you that you need the mental health days to be able to maintain your well-being and yourself and your family and all your crazy ass responsibilities that you imparted on yourself. So we coming down to the end of the show. I want everybody, we're gonna go across the screen and everybody tell everybody how they can you can connect with you. So let's go with you, Kharel, since you're on the screen.
Okay. Anyone that is out there on social media heavy, you can follow me on Instagram. It's Kicking Mad Flavor in the Air, all one word. On Snapchat, flavor underscore kitchen. And I will also be having a food pop-up event. It's going to be myself and other local vendors on April 10th. It's going to be from 11 to 4 p.m. So if you're on social media, on Instagram, please check that out. You can also check out us on any day that you would like to order food. We're open Monday through Sunday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You know, come see about the flavor.
Okay.
Nice.
How about you, Adrian? So how can people reach you?
Yeah, guys. Adrian Zeigler, Adrian Zeigler, Zeigler. Guys really moved me. I'm not on social media that much as I used to be, but I do have a Facebook and Instagram. On Instagram, it's Mr. AZ Peaceman, exactly how it's spelled out, MRAZ Peaceman, all one word. On Facebook, Mr. Adrian Zeigler and everything. And literally, if you type my name in Google, my name is very unique, Adrian Zeigler. If you type my name in Google, you'll see me and stuff. So yeah, though you can reach me through there.
And Ranisia?
I also am not much on social media, but you can follow me on Instagram at Sia Cold Chillin. Sia Cold Chillin. It's SIA and then Cold Chillin. And you can catch me 4 days a week at Amoeba Music. We're not DJing right now, but hopefully we will be in the future, and you can catch me on the 1s and 2s.
Nice.
Right on.
And I'm your host, Karima J. Spear, aka K2. You can find my work at Karima Spear. That's KARIMA SPHERE. That is my film website. And also, please check out the new website, Karima Show and Tell. That's KARIMA SHOWandTell.com. It's a dope site.
Yeah,
I'm so proud of this site. If you check it out, you'll be like, oh, really? You got some work done? Yep, I did.
It looks really good.
Utilizing that time. I appreciate it.
Actually, this website was finished last year, but because of COVID, and I was dealing with my father passing away, and recently my uncle passing away, that I just been like missing. I've been missing the live shows, and I said, you know what? But a lot of people are asking, hey, when you gonna do any show? Like, you can't do the live ones, so let's do the Zoom ones. So that's why we're on Zoom. But I want to thank you one and all for turning into season 5, episode 81. How do I control my anxiety? On Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. To all my special guests, thank you so much for being still dope. You know, I just miss y'all.